Well, the search party is not on site as yet, if I may mention that. They've mentioned that they're actually monitoring the weather patterns for now to see if maybe it would be conducive for and safe also for them to actually go back to the Jukskei river banks and also try and check for other bodies. They did mention that on Saturday when the incident happened, there was about 33 congregants that were there performing a ritual which they believe was a baptismal, and then there was high currency, and unfortunately about 15 people went missing after the chaos that erupted when the water level started rising during the process of them actually conducting that particular baptismal. So they mentioned that, based on the information that they've gathered, they've managed to actually to recover about 12 bodies, and there's also 2 bodies that's actually at the mortuary. I mean, not at the mortuary, that's actually in hospital recovering. So there are 2 people that were actually rescued during the time of high tide, and they are currently in hospital, busy fighting for their life, trying to recover there. Well, we heard that some families are actually going to the Hillbrow police station to try and identify the bodies that have actually been recovered from the waters there. So from where we are right now, we'll actually be rushing there, as there's not quite much happening here, as the emergency personnel say that they are still monitoring the rains. They are saying that, there's a high chance that they might not continue with that operation today, as they're saying that around 3 o'clock they expect that there's going to be a lot of rain which might hamper their efforts to try and recover some of the bodies, and maybe if there are survivors, to try and rescue those survivors. So in a few minutes time we'll definitely be heading to the Hillbrow police station to try and speak to the loved ones of those that have passed. We are yet to establish as to which church denomination it was that was performing those rituals. As we try to speak to the emergency services, the Johannesburg Emergency Services, they are also saying that they haven't gathered that information thus far, but that's the information we'll definitely be trying to gather in the course of the day as we try to get some more information. And that's it from us here at the Senton fire station.
Yeah, Ofentse, I think quickly before I let you go, we know that the Jukskei River in the past has certainly been one where we've seen floodings that have affected communities that are living in the area. I mean, talk to me about how that river is looking right now, particularly where we know that in previous years we have seen similar tragedies.
Yes, definitely. I mean, of recent we've seen a lot of heavy rains that have poured down, and we know that if there are like recurrent rains, once the ground is wet, it's actually quite easy for the water levels to rise, as the water is actually pouring on the ground that's already wet. So as you can imagine, the water levels are quite high, but we understand that that's what's influencing the decision by the emergency services to say that they are busy assessing the weather patterns to see as to whether they might continue with the search party today, or rather hold it for a much safer date. As I mentioned that there are some rains that are coming down now and then, but at the moment the rain has actually stopped, maybe permitting for some sort of a respite in terms of their efforts to try and go back there and see if maybe they can recover more bodies. But as things stand, they've mentioned that they've halted all operations, just assessing the situation, as they're saying they're in close communication with the South African Weather Service as to check if maybe the weather might permit them to return to the Jukskei riverbanks to check as to what's happening. We'll definitely go back to the riverbank and check as to the levels that might be deterring them from continuing with the search party.